All right, let's dive into a story that is just deeply unsettling. It's a first-person account of an encounter that pretty much defies all logic, and it's known as the Pale Family in the Library Stacks. But before we get into the details, I want you to think about something. What if the most terrifying thing you ever saw just wasn't really there? What if your own eyes, your own senses, totally betray you? Just keep that thought in your head, because it is the absolute heart of this whole story. So, our story kicks off like a lot of strange tales do, on a night that felt totally normal, if maybe a little gloomy. This first part of the encounter, we're calling it a lonely Christmas Eve. Okay, so picture this, a huge city library. You know, the kind of place that's usually full of people. But this was late at night, a time when it was known for being a total ghost town, a cavern of silence. And this wasn't just any old night. No, it was Christmas Eve, and a massive blizzard was just hammering the city. So you've got the holiday and the snow basically creating this perfect little bubble of isolation, cutting the library off from everything. The clock is ticking. There are just 10 minutes left until they lock the doors for the night. For the guy at the center of our story, the end of a long, boring shift is so close he can taste it. All he's thinking about is getting home. And who is this guy? Well, he's just a 17-year-old kid working at the library. He's stuck all by himself on the top floor, totally bored, just watching the snow fall. He has absolutely no idea that his very ordinary night is about to get very, very weird. And then, with freedom just minutes away, everything changes. The silence is broken. This is the moment. The Pale family arrives. So with only 10 minutes to go, he hears it. Footsteps. Coming up the stairs. A minute later, a family of 4 walks onto his floor. Now remember, the library is deserted, there's a blizzard outside, this is weird. So cautiously, he decides to go see what they want. But this isn't just any family. As he gets closer, the details just get more and more bizarre. Their faces are ghostly pale, like almost pure white. The man has bright red lipstick on, their clothes look like they're from another century, and they all just stare at him with these huge eyes and these impossibly wide, frozen smiles. His reaction is, well, exactly what yours would be. In his own words, he said, "I was totally creeped out and I didn't really know what to do anymore." Yeah, any sense of being a professional library worker is gone. It's just pure gut-level fear. He somehow manages to ask them twice, "Can I help you folks?" But he gets nothing back, not a word. Just that silent, unblinking stare and those horrible wide smiles. Totally freaked out, he starts slowly backing away toward his desk. And this is where the whole thing shifts from just being creepy to being something truly impossible. This is the bizarre confrontation. He needs a sanity check, right? So he grabs his radio and calls his coworker, Tom, who's downstairs at the main entrance. He asks, "Tom, have you seen this family that just came in?" He's just desperate for someone else to confirm he's not losing his mind. Tom's answer over the radio is just a gut punch. "No one's come to the entrance." The words just hang there. If no one came in the only door, how in the world did they get up here? So as he's trying to process this, he looks up. The man from the family has broken off from the group and is now walking straight for him. All alone. The man stops right in front of the desk and starts talking. But the language? It's just wrong. The narrator says it sounded like English, but it sort of wasn't. He couldn't understand a single word, like it was all just scrambled noise. Panicked, our guy glances down at his computer screen, just for a second, trying to break that horrifying eye contact. But when he dares to look back up, they're gone. The whole family vanished, without making a single sound. So the encounter itself is over, but the story is not. Now comes the desperate hunt for answers. And that leads us to the security camera's secret. When Tom finally comes upstairs, our narrator is frantically explaining everything he saw. But Tom, he's not buying it. He thinks the kid is just trying to spook him on a creepy night. One guy's convinced a family just vanished into thin air. The other thinks it's a joke. But our guy knows what he saw, and he has to have proof. So the second they lock up, they march straight to the security office. They pull up the camera feed for the top floor, and they rewind the tape looking for that exact moment the family showed up. So there, on the monitor, he watches himself. He sees himself get up from the desk. He sees himself walk out, gesture, talk, at absolutely nothing. In his own horrified words, what I saw then was the creepiest thing ever. I was talking to nobody. This security tape was undeniable. It showed him, clear as day, having a full-blown interaction with empty space. The family, the pale faces, the old-timey clothes, those creepy smiles, they were never there. And that leaves us with the one final, chilling question that no camera could ever answer. If that family was never really there, then what on earth did he see?